The anarchy fantasy. There are many fantasies or plans out there in the competition for power. But one of the dumbest, the most childish fantasies there is the anarchy fantasy. And I used to be a punk rocker back in the day. If you look at my old textbooks, I had anarchy A's written all over them. And I made some of the same stupid arguments that I hear anarchists making today. And this shows how the competition for power makes us stupid. It makes us stupid because we compete for a fantasy and we're biased because we want to win. So when you're competing for this anarchy fantasy, you'll make arguments like, well, you don't murder just because there are laws. You don't not murder, I should say, just because there are laws against murder. You don't not rape because there are laws against rape. You don't not molest children because there are laws against molesting children. You do it because you don't want to do those things, right? Well, I don't, but there are those who do. So why is anarchy such a stupid fantasy? Well, you have to understand the reason why we have government. Anarchy is against government. It's against the state. It's against hierarchy. I hear them arguing for equality. Okay, first of all, equality is stupid. Because equal means same. We're not the same, we're different. Because we're different, we get in conflicts. The reason we have government is to end conflicts. That is the only reason we have government. The only reason for government is to stop conflict. The only reason. Now, I've heard people say, well, the government's supposed to help people. The government's supposed to do this or that. No. The government, the only reason for government, the only thing the government is supposed to do is stop conflict. That's it. That is it. Without government, there's going to be conflict. Now, you could do those things, those other things, once you've stopped conflict, or at least cut down the conflict. Unfortunately, we still have conflict because we have weak governments, but the reason we have weak governments is a lot of people don't like governments. Obviously, this is the reason for anarchy. People don't want to be told what to do. They want to I want to do whatever I want to do. I want to do this, I want to do that. What's this song from the Vandals? America stands for freedom, but if you think you're free, try walking into a deli and urinating on the cheese. Do you want to urinate on the cheese? Do you want someone else to urinate on the cheese? Do you like cheese? If you like cheese, you don't want anybody urinating on it, right? So you can see already from that song how childish anarchy is. But the idea, is there. I want freedom. Freedom is portrayed as this glorious thing until it's not. Until someone does something horrible and then you're like, well, that's freedom, right? No, they shouldn't be able to do that. They shouldn't be able to molest children or rape or murder or steal or all these things. Right? And the anarchists would say, society will stop them from doing that. Because they're just, look, the only reason people, again, why the competition for power makes us stupid, the only reason you'll look to at the negatives of whatever fantasy you've chosen, whether it's anarchy or communism or some other fantasy, and we've all chosen one, whatever fantasy you've chosen, the only reason most of the time you'll look for the negatives is to defend them, to defend attacks against anarchy. You might look at the negatives and try to formulate a defense against those attacks. But you won't realistically say, well, anarchy won't work because there'll be conflict. How do you stop the conflicts? I actually saw this one video talking about anarchy police. You're going to make a government to stop government. You're going to stop conflict. So it's a government. Come on. This is the dumbest, the most childish fantasy there is. Anarchy is stupid. But we're all turned into idiots by the competition for power, because we're competing for a plan that we want to enact, this plan of how we want the world to be, and we come up with dumb fantasies, and we decide we like a certain stupid fantasy, blindly look at all the positives, and if we look at the negatives, it's only as a way to defend that dumb fantasy. Now, not all fantasies are dumb. Some fantasies are just fantasies, plans, how we want the world to be. But some of them are pretty dumb. And anarchy is the dumbest, the most childish. No one should be an anarchist. If you have any intelligence, you should understand why we have government, why we have hierarchies, why equality is stupid. Because we're not the same. We're different. Some people are smart, some people are stupid, some people are tall, some people are short, some people want to rape, some people don't. Why are there wars? Why are there conflict? I mean, the idea is insane that we'll get rid of government and conflict will end because all conflict comes from capitalism. That's another thing I heard from someone. So you're saying people don't get in conflict over jealousy, over emotions, over whatever, you know? It's the stupidity created by the competition for power. Defend your fantasy. Don't attack it. Try attacking your own fantasy. Try doing that. If your fantasy is anything set in stone, like anarchy. If you have a fantasy, my personal fantasy is experimentation. Why don't we experiment, see what works, what doesn't work? But we're all turned stupid. We're all corrupted. Our thinking is corrupted by the competition for power. That's why stupid fantasies like anarchy have gained in popularity. People are stupid. Their minds are corrupted. They're in love with this fantasy that they'll work in harmony together for some. I mean, I don't understand. Like sometimes I don't even understand how their thinking goes. Like they'll work in the commune. Someone will be in charge, but they'll be equal. Different jobs. Things are different, you know? We're not the same. You don't make things equal that are different. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense if one job is hard and one job is easy, but they're going to be treated the same. Doesn't it make sense that someone receives a better benefit from a harder job or a job that requires more skill than one that's easy and requires no skill? But never mind the attacks. If you support anarchy, you may defend it or you may not even. You'll just say, you're an idiot, shut up. I'm right, you're wrong. That's the way the competition for power goes. But I'm telling you right now, there's a reason for government to stop conflict. That's it. And without government, there will be conflict. Why do we try to create a world government, the United Nations, the League of Nations? Why do we try to create that? To stop world wars. To stop wars. The reason for government is to stop conflict. Without government, there's going to be conflict. Sorry. Anarchy is stupid.